Hey, remember a few weeks ago how I made these $2 bill foil pickups? And then I went and I just taped them onto my old vintage Harmony so we could hear them. I wanted to hear them a little bit better, so I went and I made this whole guitar just for the pickups. Of course, I didn't just build the guitar just to try these pickups out. It's an experiment that I've been working on. I've been developing this sort of archtop, sort of semi-hollow design, and I wanted to make a guitar version. Some of you may remember a few months back I made this bass guitar version, and this is like one of my favorite basses I've made to date, and I love the body shape. But this one, it's pretty flat. It doesn't have quite as much of an arch as I wanted, and so I thought I'd try again as a 6-string. And we came here. So there's a lot of things about this that I like, and there's a lot of things I don't like that I'll change in future iterations. But that's the fun part of like experimenting and learning. So first, let's watch this little video montage of the making of this guitar. I didn't film it in heavy detail like I usually do, but enough so you get the idea. The bulk of the guitar is made from this giant reclaimed Doug fir beam out of an 1800s building in my area. My friend Joe over at Urban Miners has a big stack of them from when he tore down a barn. It's actually twice reclaimed, which is kind of fun. But this is it's kind of nice looking wood, but it's a little bit splintery and not really wicked strong, so it's not the best wood to use for guitar. So what I'm doing here is I'm splitting it up so I can glue a center stripe of a harder, denser wood down the middle of it to give it a little more structure and a better neck joint pocket instead of this sort of soft pine wood. So that's what that is. There's some reclaimed ash that I have screwed into the middle. And of course, I'm making this Archtop design, which I'm designing in Vectric, which is my go-to. So I started with that bass guitar file and edited it to make it a guitar. And it's in 2 pieces. I put it together like a clamshell. So I had to make 2 pieces of these glue-ups with the center strip of this denser material. And I also kind of wanted to try to make the grain match. So it was a little bit of kind of trying to be tricky of slicing it all together, make it so when the 2 halves go back together, it will look like one solid piece of wood. Basically, the way the CNC operates to cut this out is it does like a clearing path first, where it does these like steps to sort of remove bulk material, and then we then go over and smooth it out. That's my scaling banana. That was a gift from Jorgen Stray. Thank you very much for that. I love it. I had already made this neck ahead of time with a blank headstock because it is a prototype for my future necks that I plan on making that are going to be like a kit neck or a bolt-on neck. It's in the works. I'll have more on that coming soon. I love how having a CNC makes it like there's 2 of me in the shop. Now with my 2 halves contoured out, I can put them together. Like I said, it's sort of like a clamshell, and you see I just glue them together. I got the block to hold where my bridge goes, and I had some dowels in there to help me line it up. Pretty simple stuff. But so you can see like the edge, there's some kind of like ugly spots or some glue. So we're just sort of chipped up in the machining process. So I want to hide this edge a little bit. I was thinking about doing an edge banding, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to paint this edge and then leave the rest of it natural. I use Stuart Semple's Black 3.0 paint, and if you don't know what any of that means, I strongly recommend you Google Vanta Black Controversy and look it up. It's pretty interesting stuff. But this is like basically the blackest paint on the market that normal people can get. This is just a little bit of linseed oil that I like to put on wood before I finish it. You can totally do that and put water-based finishes right over it. You just have to let it really dry good first, but it helps really show the grain off a little more. In case you forgot where we are, this whole guitar build is basically just to try out my $2 bill pickups, which are basically my answer to the vintage DeArmond gold foil pickups, but cooler because they're made with $2 bills. But what's fun about these pickups, they're completely surface mount, so you can see there's no holes routed in for them. I just have to figure out where I want to put them. I could, if I wanted to, even move them around and find sweet spots and whatnot, and then and put them down there. And they do come with these little risers. The newer version, which we'll see later, has a slightly different, some mild changes we'll get to in a little bit. But the front one didn't need a riser, and then the back one needed 2 of them. Each pickup comes with 2 of these risers. They're a 1/4 inch thick each, and if you needed something thicker, you could use one as a template and trace out, or just make it out of a nicer, harder wood or something, or just design your guitar around the pickups. Normally, I just do all my soldering right in the instrument, but this is a little bit more of a complicated solder, and also you can see that hole is a little bit tight to sort of reach everything, so I just set that little jig up. I thought the pickup sounded pretty cool. They're lo-fi as expected and microphonic as expected and prone to feedback as expected, but that's all, you know, kind of what we're doing with this style pickup. I thought there's plenty of variation between the tones, and I thought it sounded pretty good. The guitar plays pretty good, but there's a lot of things about this guitar that I would do different. And, you know, it's a prototype. It will eventually go for sale, and the price reflects when I sell these types of guitars off at newperspectives.com or on my truck or whatever. You know, I like to just put guitars into people's hands and learn and grow with them. So this one, you know, if and when I make another, there's a few spots on the body I would change the arch and the shape a little bit. Like you can see right here, there's the arch kind of drops away under that pickup, so I'd keep that a little wider and a little flatter there. And also this volume knob is sort of buried underneath the Bigsby here. I would space those out a little bit differently. And then on the back, because of the arch, the covers don't sit flush, so I would have to make like a wooden cover and sand it in or something. You know, some little details like that into the shape, but I'm digging the overall size of it and the overall thickness of it, and the radius of the arch is about what I was looking for. You know, for a semi-hollow type of instrument that's made a little bit differently. So that's what's going on here. And then, you know what? I'm not done with these pickups yet. Since the first batch sold out, I thought I'd make a second batch. And having, you know, learned a little bit from the first batch, I wanted to make the second just a little bit different. I made a few improvements to the overall design of the case. So the wires come out the bottom now. And you can see here I made this little harness to hold ceramic magnets instead of the neodymium magnets. I did my same cereal box and closet door bobbin, and this time I went down to 44 gauge copper wire instead of 43, which is also more indicative of the originals, so I could get a few more winds around there as well. And then just some tape to insulate all of the solder work that I did and put them back into these slightly improved metal cases. I also changed the way I folded the $2 bill. Before I folded them in quarters because I wanted to see that 2 on it, but this time I folded it to focus more on Jefferson's face. Doing it this way makes it not as obvious that it's a $2 bill, but I think it's a better look overall. I got a little better at putting the metal cases together, and I also wax potted the whole thing this time, which I didn't do the other time. Unfortunately, my wax pot's not quite big enough to just do it at one dip, but I had to flip it over and get the other side for a few minutes. You really want to let it sit in there for a while. And then just clean the wax off the top to make it look pretty again. So now we have to hear what these sound like, but now I don't have to build another guitar because I have the one I just made. So I'm going to just swap out just the bridge one, I think, and I'm going to put one of these new ones in so we can kind of swap back and forth and hear the two. So as with anything that you practice and get better at, I think they look a little bit better than the last batch. Like I said, I really wanted to have the 2, but I think folding it this way, which is the most logical way to do it, looks better. I like the finish on it. I think I did a better job putting them together. Sound-wise, they sound basically the same, but it's just a little bit more focused, I think, just a little bit. So I feel like it's still the same pickup that I designed. Not even like a 2.0, just like a 1.3. And there's a few of them up in my store, newperspectivesmusic.com, if you're interested. Just a few. I didn't make a lot. Thanks a lot and be good.